Every single day, you are being manipulated, and you do not even know it. The person who got you to agree to that meeting, the salesperson who made you buy something you did not need, the friend who guilt-tripped you into changing your plans, they all use the same playbook. Dark psychology is not about being evil. It is about understanding the invisible forces that drive human behavior, and once you see them, you can never unsee them. Here are 7 dark psychology tricks that work on everybody, including you. Trick number 1. The door in the face technique. Imagine someone asks you to volunteer 40 hours a week at a shelter. You say no, of course you do. Then they ask, well, how about just 2 hours this Saturday? Suddenly that feels reasonable. You agree. But here is what happened. The first request was never real. It was designed to be rejected, so the second request feels like a compromise. Researchers Robert Cialdini and his colleagues tested this in 1975. They asked college students to chaperone juvenile delinquents on a trip to the zoo. Only 17% said yes, but when they first asked students to volunteer 2 hours a week for 2 years and then followed with the zoo request, 50% agreed. 3 times the compliance rate. The same technique is used in salary negotiations, sales pitches, and even by children asking their parents for things. Start absurdly high, get rejected, then ask for what you actually wanted. It works because the human brain is wired to reciprocate concessions. When someone appears to give ground, we feel obligated to give ground too. Trick number 2. Anchoring bias. Walk into any store and look at the price tags. That $400 jacket marked down to $199. It feels like a steal. But is it actually worth $199? It does not matter. Your brain already anchored to 400. Everything after that is compared to the anchor. Daniel Kahneman, the Nobel Prize-winning psychologist, demonstrated that even random numbers influence our decisions. In one experiment, participants spun a wheel that landed on either 10 or 65. They were then asked what percentage of African countries are in the United Nations. Those who spun 65 guessed significantly higher than those who spun 10. A completely random number changed their estimate. Anchoring is everywhere. Real estate agents show you an overpriced house first, so every house after seems affordable. Restaurants put a $200 steak on the menu, so the $80 one feels reasonable. The first number you hear in any negotiation sets the battlefield. This is why you should always be the first to name a price. Set the anchor and let the other person's brain do the rest. Trick number 3. Manufactured scarcity. Only 3 left in stock. Limited time offer, exclusive access for the first 50 people. These phrases trigger a primal fear in your brain, the fear of missing out. Scarcity makes things more desirable, not because they become more valuable, but because losing access to something feels twice as painful as gaining it. This is called loss aversion. Psychologist Stephen Wurtzel conducted a classic experiment with cookies. He gave participants cookies from either a full jar or a nearly empty jar. The cookies were identical, but people rated the cookies from the nearly empty jar as significantly more desirable and valuable. Same cookie, different perception. Companies weaponize this constantly. Flash sales with countdown timers, members-only access, wait lists for products that are not even in short supply. The moment something feels scarce, your rational brain shuts down and your emotional brain takes over. Trick number 4. Social proof manipulation. You are standing in front of 2 restaurants. One has a line out the door, the other is empty. Which one do you choose? The busy one. Every time. Even though you have 0 information about the food quality. This is social proof. We use other people's behavior as a shortcut for our own decisions, and manipulators know exactly how to exploit it. Fake reviews, bot followers, planted audience members who clap at the right moments, laugh tracks on sitcoms. All social proof engineering. Robert Cialdini found that hotel guests were 33% more likely to reuse their towels when told that most guests in this room reused their towels, compared to a generic environmental message. We do not just follow the crowd. We follow what we believe our specific peer group does. This is why testimonials from people who look like you are more persuasive than celebrity endorsements. Smart manipulators do not just show you that people like their product. They show you that people like you like their product. Trick number 5. The Ben Franklin Effect. This one is counterintuitive. If you want someone to like you, do not do them a favor. Ask them to do you a favor. Benjamin Franklin discovered this when dealing with a rival legislator. Instead of trying to win him over with kindness, Franklin asked to borrow a rare book from the man's library. The man agreed, and from that day forward, he treated Franklin with warmth and friendship. Why does this work? Cognitive dissonance. When someone does you a favor, their brain creates a narrative to justify the action. I helped this person, therefore I must like them. The alternative, admitting they were manipulated into helping, is too uncomfortable. So the brain rewrites reality. You can use this anywhere. Ask a coworker for advice on a project. Ask a stranger to watch your bag for a moment. Each small favor builds an invisible bond. The person who helps you convinces themselves they care about you. Trick number 6. Emotional labeling. This is a technique used by FBI hostage negotiators. When someone is emotional, do not tell them to calm down. Instead, label their emotion. It sounds like you are feeling frustrated. It seems like this situation is overwhelming. Something strange happens when you accurately label someone's emotion. The amygdala, the fear center of the brain, actually decreases in activity. Brain scans show this. The act of having your emotion recognized and named creates a feeling of being understood. And once someone feels understood, their defenses collapse. Chris Voss, the former FBI lead international kidnapping negotiator, calls this tactical empathy. It is not about agreeing with someone. It is about demonstrating that you see their emotional state. When you label someone's fear correctly, the fear diminishes. When you label their anger, the anger softens. You are not solving their problem. You are making them feel seen. And feeling seen is the most powerful drug in human psychology. Trick number 7. The contrast principle. Nothing exists in isolation. Everything is judged relative to what came before it. A real estate agent shows you a terrible house first, run down, overpriced, depressing. Then they show you a decent house at market price. Suddenly, it feels amazing. By comparison, a manager gives you devastating feedback, then says, "But here is what you are doing right." The positive feedback feels amplified because of the contrast. This principle is why before and after photos are so powerful. Why bad news is always delivered before good news. Why luxury brands place their most expensive items at the entrance. Your brain cannot evaluate anything in a vacuum. It always compares. And whoever controls the comparison controls the decision. Here is the thing about dark psychology. The same techniques that are used to manipulate you can be used to protect you. Once you see the door in the face technique, it loses its power. Once you recognize anchoring, you can reset the frame. Once you understand scarcity is manufactured, the urgency disappears. Knowledge is not just power. Knowledge is armor. If you found this valuable, subscribe to PsychWired. We break down the hidden psychology behind everyday manipulation so you never fall for it again. Drop a comment with which trick surprised you the most. And remember, the most dangerous game is the one you do not know you are playing.